I'm not going to lie to you when the bride sprinted down the aisle, white dress bunched up at her fists, and hugged a homeless man at her own wedding. Half the room looked ready to bolt. Some guests even whispered, "Don't tell me you invited him." And if you're wondering, yeah, that really happened, but that's not the whole story. Minutes later, 12 Marines in full dress blues filed in, stood at perfect attention, and saluted the bride like she was royalty. You should have seen the looks on those faces: shocked, confused, maybe a little ashamed. If you believe kindness should never be judged, just say, "I'm outraged." Anyway, before that wild day, my name was Emily Sanchez, and every morning, while the world was still dark, I'd unlock the back door at Sunrise Bakery in San Diego. I'm talking 4:30 a.m., sometimes earlier. Just me, my playlists, and a stack of flour sacks. I ran the kitchen for 6 years, and if you ever had one of my cinnamon rolls, you'd know why people lined up outside before dawn. But let's be real, most of my coworkers didn't care about the pastries. They were too busy whispering about my little ritual. See, every single day after the first batch came out, I'd set aside a fresh croissant or something warm, pour a coffee, tuck a note in, and leave out on the bus bench behind the bakery. "Wishing you a peaceful day." That was it. The same man sat there every morning, gray hair, old coat, quiet as a statue. He never asked for anything, never bothered anyone. We never exchanged names. He just nodded. And yet people noticed. "She's wasting food," my boss complained. "He'll take advantage of her," another co-worker snickered. Even the new manager tried to rein me in. Zaid customers felt uncomfortable about my little act of charity. Told me to drop food off at a shelter instead. I just started coming in earlier, dropping it off before anyone saw me. Guess I'm stubborn like that. Sometimes the snide comments hurt mostly because nobody else saw what I did. A person, not a problem. I grew up hearing, "You're too soft-hearted," Emily, from my mom, especially when I got engaged to Marco. Marco gets it. Thuff's a firefighter, the kind who buys coffee for new rookies or pulls over to help stranded drivers. People think giving is about recognition, but it isn't. It's about seeing the folks nobody else bothers to see. You ever see good people get misunderstood? It's so unfair. The funny thing is, I never spoke to that old man well. Not until it rained so hard I found him shaking, soaked clear through. That morning, I left in my own scarf with the usual breakfast. Next day, there was a note on a napkin. "Thank you for seeing me as a person." I carried that with me everywhere. So the wedding rolls around. I order my cake from the bakery, invite the staff, invite everyone. Marco teases me, but that's just who I am. 2 days before, I get a letter, no return address. Just, "Tomorrow I will come, not for cake, but to honor a debt." It creeped the planner out, but I had this weird feeling like I'd seen that handwriting before. The morning of the wedding, nerves had me bouncing off the walls. I peek out and see guests filtering in: me, family, friends, bakery coworkers. Then, right at the church entrance, there he is, the old man, suit pressed as best he could, shoes shined, silver hair combed. He looked different, like he belonged, but also didn't. Guests whispered, "Who invited the homeless guy? Is he here for handouts?" You could practically taste the judgment in the air. And two just lost it. I didn't care about the processional or the photographer schedule. I hiked up my dress and made a beeline for that man. Wrapped him in a hug that nearly ruined my makeup. I whispered, "I still remember your eyes the first time, 2017. He smiled, warm and genuine, and for the first time, I heard his voice clear and steady. "I remember every morning you treated me like a human being." We barely made it inside before my wedding planner rushed over, all flustered. "Emily, who is this gentleman?" she whispered, but before I could answer, a dozen Marines showed up like something out of a movie. The whole church went silent. 12 Marines in full dress blues marched in, formation perfect. The lead one, Captain Duncan, saluted and announced, "We are here to honor the woman who silently sustained a hero for 6 years." The room was dead quiet. He gestured to the man beside me. "This is Sergeant Victor Hale, Marine, Silver Star, saved 9 men in Fallujah." Turns out, Victor lost his entire family in a car accident and just disappeared. Never claimed his medal, never asked for help, just faded away. Now my jaw dropped as Captain Duncan told the room, "He saved my life. Carried me under fire, rescued 8 others, wounded himself. Never asked for thanks. If not for him, I wouldn't be here. And if not for me, Victor might not have survived. I couldn't even process it. Tears just poured down my face. I never knew I managed. Victor smiled, gentle as always. That was the point. I didn't want to be thanked for my duty. After losing my wife and daughter, I couldn't bear to be called a hero when I'd failed to save my own family. But you never asked for my story. You just saw me, fed me, left me notes that made me want to wake up. The Marines lined up, forming an honor guard. Captain Duncan addressed everyone as Sanchez never knew she was helping a war hero. She just helped a person every day, no recognition, no reward. He gave me a shadow box. Inside was a medal and a photo. Victor, younger, carrying Captain Duncan through a war zone. That moment broke something open in the church. Co-workers stepped forward. Emily pays for those pastries herself. One confessed. We teased her for it. Another admitted, faces red. Then a guest stood up. This isn't just a wedding. This is a military honor ceremony. Victor squeezed my hands. I have nothing to give you but my truth, my gratitude, and my presence. I heard you were getting married. I hope you don't mind. I brought some old friends. Marco, my groom, grinned and stuck out his hand. Sir, would you walk Emily down the aisle? Victor just nodded, tears in his eyes. You ever get something huge from one tiny act? Yeah, I owe a debt. After the honeymoon, I didn't go back to the bakery. Marco and I used our wedding money to start the quiet table-free breakfast for homeless veterans. No cameras, no press releases, just a sign. Feeding one person feeds a whole life that might be forgotten. Victor never came by, but every month I got a postcard from a different town, always the same message. Every breakfast is a salute. Thank you, Emily. Captain Duncan said Victor was finally getting help, VA benefits, a place to stay, therapy, friends. A year later, on our wedding anniversary, the 12 Marines showed up again, this time in regular clothes, each holding a flower. We're taking shifts volunteering, Captain Duncan said. This isn't an honor we'll forget. Veterans all over San Diego started coming. The note Victor wrote me hung above the counter. Thank you for seeing me as a person. I added my own. Everyone at this table has a story worth knowing. When a news crew found out and wanted to interview me, I told them to talk to the vets. It's not about me. It's about seeing the invisible. On rough days, when we were low on food or short on help, I remember the Marines saluting a simple act of kindness. Marco always understood. When I married you, he said once, I didn't just get a wife. I got 12 Marines and a new family. I grinned. The best kind. The kind you choose and the kind that chooses you back. So let me ask you, do you think a small meal can save a soul? Because some debts you can't pay with money, only with dignity, day after day. I never needed to know Victor's story. I just saw someone who mattered. Through that, we save a life and maybe reminded a room full of people that you never know who you're really feeding. Sometimes the greatest heroes eat alone, unnoticed, until someone shows up with a cup of coffee and a note. And sometimes, kindness is the only medal that matters. Tell me what you think. Should kindness be judged? Should we care who gets helped, or just help anyway? Share your thoughts on what's right, what's fair, and who really deserve a seat at the table.